How's it going, everyone? It's Daikin here, bringing you another Melty Blood Type Lumina God, and today we are finally doing Neco Arc. By highly request, I am bringing back my character guide series, and a lot of people have been requesting a few characters, and Neco Arc is, of course, one on the list. So we're going to be talking about everything as far as her normals, her specials, her supers, her moon skills, and a few combos to get you guys started. So let's go ahead and start talking about everything Neco Arc. So first thing first, what type of character is Neco Arc? Well, Neco Arc is going to be a item throw RNG character. So they got a lot of things where they can toss out sort of other Neco Arcs, and they do a bunch of different things, and the things that they do are random depending on just the RNG chance, right? Sometimes you may get something good, sometimes you may get something completely worthless, but that is the gimmick of the character, is that they are item throw RNG character. And of course, they're supposed to be a little bit memey, so they're not really supposed to be like the strongest character. That's why some things may feel like they're useless on paper, but we're going to try to go over everything and try to give a use for most of the things and how you can try to utilize her tools. So starting off with Neco Arc's grounded normals, her 5A is going to be very stubby poke right here, but it's actually going to be like the fastest normal in the game at 4 frames. So very fast button, but it just has no range. The 2A is going to be a little bit more range, but also is going to be 5 frames, so it's going to be 1 frame slower, but 5 frames is about the normal speed of fastest normals within this game. Her 5B is going to be this little kick right here. It actually moves her forward quite a lot, and she actually has a charge version of it, which is going to be this right here, which is going to move forward a lot more than just the regular. So this is the regular, and this is the charge version. Moves forward quite a lot. This is also going to be the move that you're going to be doing to actually beat low shield. So someone tries to low shield you like this, this is going to be the button you're going to press that's going to counter that. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be the counter to those pesky low shields with this character. 2B is going to be one of her best grounded buttons because of the range that it actually covers. So it covers this range right here, a lot of range that it covers, and it sort of just slides in just like that. Is going to actually be a low. And she also has a charge version of this. This actually makes it unblockable. So notice the character is on block. This actually is unblockable. Now you don't really get anything off of this, and if it whiffs, you kind of are in a state where you just get punished. Even though it looks like you're grounded, you're not really grounded. They can actually still punish you. So it's a pretty risky tool that you don't really get anything off of, but it isn't unblockable like some of the other characters that got some unblockables. 5C and 2C are both going to be some other normals that are going to move Neco Arc a little bit more forward. So once you get past her A normals, you can notice that a lot of things start to move her forward a little bit. The 5B, the 2B, the 5C, and the 2C are going to be things that move this character forward. So you definitely want to utilize these moves in order to sort of make sure your pressure actually works, so you're not whiffing attacks after you're doing one, like say something like that. So you want to make sure you know the sequences of which ones move the furthest. So the biggest ones are going to be the 2B, the 5B, and the 2C are going to be the biggest ones. Once you do 2B, you probably don't want to go into 5B unless you make it move in a little bit. Then you can try to like move it in like that and try to get those other options, but it's a little bit more riskier that way because you are going to be having to delay when you actually try that option. Now, to my surprise, Neco Arc actually packs a few interesting command normals. So 6A by itself is actually going to be +2 on block. So you can actually use this in block strings and sort of pressure your opponent. So something you could definitely get away with if you get something like this and you do that delay like I was talking about, and then you go into this, you're actually plus off of this situation. So then you can sort of stagger into something else and get your opponent to try to press a button. It seems like you're probably pressing like 5A. Don't look that much different. It's kind of hard to tell like off of the hit itself. So you know, you can get your opponents off this +2. Now another thing you can do is actually hold it, and this will do the 10 hit string, right? So she'll go left, back, forward, and right. But the thing about this you want to know is you can actually cancel it at any point. So the last hit will naturally whiff on the opponent when they are blocking it, so you want to cancel it at any time before then to make yourself safe. So anything you cancel into, just make sure you can do it. You can actually do it behind them too if you know the timing of when she actually goes behind the opponent. So if you want to do this, maybe you were in the corner, so you were in a corner situation and you want to put them in the corner, you can sort of, you know, time it just right and make it to where they are the ones in the corner from the situation. So while you are sort of, you know, disadvantaged as far as the negative frames that you put yourself on from the special move, they are going to be in the corner spot, so you have the sort of positional advantage for using this string. 6C is going to be a Rekka style move with 2 additional follow-ups. So the first one's going to look like this, the second follow-up is going to look like that, and the third follow-up is going to have a sort of launching bunge like that. So you can actually use this to sort of stagger because there is actually a long window. So you could do the first attack, and look how long you can take the stagger. So you can actually try to steal your turn back off the first one, like say something like that. So do 6C and then try to steal your turn back with like a 2A or something like that. it's something you can actually try to do because this is only -3. So -3, definitely a little bit more minus than like a -1 or -2. But, you know, because of the long stagger window there is for this, you can actually try to actually steal your turn back and reset your pressure situation. Now, hit this string will actually launch your opponent, but you can actually jump cancel it to actually pick it up for a combo. So that is something to definitely keep on mind. If you actually hit your opponent with this, you definitely have access to your jump cancel. So definitely keep that in mind on the last hit. And the last grounded command normal to talk about for Neco Arc is going to be this 4C. So this is actually going to be an overhead. It's going to be pretty slow at 31 frames, but if you actually hit your opponent with this, you can actually get a combo of this with her DP special move. So you can sort of follow up like that and then go into like 2C, 5C, and then go into a full launcher combo from there. So you could definitely get stuff off of this. It is not going to be something that you can actually cancel into other normals, but it is special cancelable. And like I said, the main one you're going to probably go into is this one right here, because this is a pretty prominent combo tool for the character, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, talking about Neco Arc's air buttons, her JA is going to be also another stubby button like the other ones, also going to be about 5 frames. JB is going to be one of your better buttons to press because it has a little bit more range than the JA. Also, the JC is going to be a little bit slower on the startup than some other things, so you can't do what a lot of other characters can, like take regular arc right here, where you can do JA and then come down with a C button. So you would have to rely on the actual C button for this character. But one thing to note about this C button for this character is it actually does cross up, so you can hit it like that. So you can overshoot with this move a little bit, so this does help out. But again, you can't get access to that move, unfortunately. When you are going for like an A fish and then try to come down, you would have to come down with a B button, which is going to be one of the things that this character actually have to do. So you have to do something like this. JA into JB is what you have to do with this character, which unfortunately doesn't cross up, but like I said, is going to be one of her good buttons to actually press in the air. JB is also going to be the button you're probably going to instant air dash with the most because of the range it covers compared to JA, and JC just simply doesn't work. So JB is definitely going to be the button of choice when it comes to trying to do instant air dash pressure on your opponent when they are grounded and you're trying to just like reestablish pressure. Now, the unique thing about Neco Arc's JC is it's not going to be like the combo tool like a bunch of other characters are. So if you know, a lot of people or characters will have things where they can actually do like JA and then JB or something, or JA JC, and then sort of get the combo like this. This isn't going to really be the tool for this character, right? This isn't going to be the thing you're going to be using this for. The main thing you're going to be using this for is it actually is a way to stabilize this character as far as her movement. So it's going to be something you could use for tricky mix-ups and just having a bunch of hits. So this will do up to 1 to 5 overheads depending on how the opponent is getting hit. So if they're standing or if you just do it low to the ground, it will change the amount of hits that it actually does depending on how late the opponent actually gets hit by the move. So 1 to 5 is actually what you can utilize it, but you can actually control the direction she's actually moving. So you see I can go forward, I can go back. This could be very good for when you're actually trying to use like super jump JC neutral and you sort of overshoot your opponent like this. You can sort of move it backwards and make sure that you hit them, and they still have to deal with the amount of overheads that you got. So it could be 1 overhead, it could be 2, it could possibly be 3, depending on, once again, how you actually hit them with it, and change up, you know, is it going to be a left, is it going to be a right? Even though this game has cross-up protection, you know, they still have to worry about like exactly what side you want for the next follow-up normals that you may do afterwards. Neco Arc also got a few command normals in the air. So J2C is going to be this move right here. Don't really know the use for this move outside of probably like some combo potentiality, so probably just combo filler, because it has landing recovery until you like basically touch the ground. Like you really can't move. Like if I do 1 jump, you can't really move, but you can control where you actually recover. So once you do it, you notice that she hop forward a little bit, but I control it by going forward a little bit, or I can actually go backwards, as you can see that. So this is going backwards and this is recovering forward. So you can control the recovery a little bit by just holding the direction that you want. The other move is going to be the esportsu, the J2B. This move right here is going to be able to be special cancel. So you could actually special cancel this in the air on the first hit, or you could cancel it on the ground on the second hit. So you got 2 options to really cancel this off of, to sort of like mess with your opponent depending on what you want to do. And yeah, that's pretty much this move. But once again, also don't think this is something you're going to be using a lot. And I mean, it does halt your momentum. So if you know you want to catch somebody probably trying to get like an anti-air attempt, you can try to use it like that. But besides that, I don't really see too much use for this one as well. It can have, like, once again, that little bit of property that I just mentioned before, though. Now, Neco Arc is going to be one of these weird characters where I actually got to talk about her throw before we actually talk about special moves, because there's something special about this character throw. So when you actually do the throw and it whiffs. If you hold the button, it actually does this charge animation and it becomes like an invincible DP that she'll run through the opponent if it hits. If she doesn't hit, then she sort of bounces off of them and she is in a punchable state the entire time. So you sort of have like a one little extra attempt that you could try to like do this like weird little invincible DP thing. Even on hit though, it seems like you could like sort of punish it in like some cases and stuff. So be aware when you use this move. I guess if you whiff it, I guess, you know, maybe think twice about using this, but it is something you can actually utilize sometimes if you want to, especially if your opponent doesn't know about it or if they don't know how to punish it when they get hit by it. Now it's finally time to talk about Neco Arc's special moves. So the first one we're going to talk about is the beam. So the true ancestor beam. So this is going to be her 236 series. This is going to be the A version right here, which kind of goes full screen, kind of locks your opponent down. It covers a very good angle, right? It covers the ground and an angle that a lot of people would jump at. So you could definitely catch a lot of people with this, and it actually combos into the actual super version, which is the 236C, which we'll talk about a little bit later once we start talking about the supers. 236B is going to be the one that's going to be a little bit more of an anti-air tool when they're like right above you. This is really good that you actually got something like this, because there's a lot of things where some characters don't have like really good answers when people are above them, but this is actually a pretty prominent answer, and it's actually faster than the A beam. So you can actually use this like as a reaction tool when somebody's right above you, they do like a double jump or something. This could be something you can use to try to lock them down. Neco Arc 623 series is going to be the Neco sidestep, aka the shot, right? So the A version is actually going to be the one you use in combos like I showed previously. So you could do this in combos and pick it up with like a 2C or something, 2C, 5C. You can pick this up for combos. So this is going to be your main combo tool one that you're going to be using in combos. The B version is actually going to be a DP. So you see it has invul. This move actually has a lot of invul, being strike like 1 through 30. So you're going to have a lot of invul from this move right here. For some reason, I don't know why it has that much, but yeah, you just pretty much got to wait for the recovery of this move if you're trying to punish this. And this is something you should know as a Neco Arc player as well, that you have a lot of invisibility when you actually use this attack. Now, of course, being a DP, this being her DP is not the best, obviously, because she only covers the ground, not covering the air. But it does have its uses and can get you out of certain situations. The next thing to talk about is her 214 series. So 214 series is going to be the dig move where she teleports, right? So there's going to be 3 different ones, and this actually doesn't have an EX move on this, surprisingly. So there is going to be 3 different places that she's going to come. So you see that when she digs, there's 3 different like Neco Arcs there. So the A version is going to be the furthest away. The B version is going to be the middle, and the C version is going to be the one that is like closest to the opponent. So you just have to keep this in mind, right, when you're actually doing this. So the other thing about this move is there is a chance that the Neco Arcs can actually, rather than dig back into the ground, actually go up into the air and actually like become a projectile. Like I said, it's a very small chance. You see there's one right there. Apparently it's like a 25% chance from what people have been testing. But yeah, this is something, once again, just part of the RNG aspect of this character. But the main thing you're going to be using this is to get around the screen, right? It's less about the hits and more about the getting around the screen. The hits or the RNG aspect of one actually doing something that is useful is just an added bonus when you're actually trying to use this to manipulate your movement around the screen. Neco Arc's 228 series is also going to be a couple of projectiles. So the first one is going to be this flare attack right here, as you can see. So this is actually going to be plus on block, actually being +1 actually on the first hit of this. So when you actually do it, you can actually get a +1 like that. So I got Arcway to actually do a 2A after I press the button, so you can actually get +1. This is going to be something that's going to be very hard for you to actually utilize. You can use it for like a frame trap situation though. So if you want to like frame trap or something, you can use it to try to frame trap your opponent. But of course, it is going to have a lot of startup, so you got to make sure that you are, you know, pretty decently far away at just like 21 frames of a startup. So it is pretty hard to utilize this move. And even with the plus range, once again, because her normals are so stubby at +1, you really can't utilize it too much. However, the other tool actually can be used quite a bit, which is going to be 22B. So this is when she tosses out a little other Neco Arc and they do a random move of her toolkit. So sometimes it'll be like just a normal, sometimes it'll be a command normal, sometimes they do absolutely nothing, like just sit there, as you can see. So sometimes they'll do nothing, they'll just taunt or whatever. So this is something that seems like it's not good, but when you realize that this move is actually plus on block as well, you can actually get some interesting things that happen. So this move is actually +3 on block when it comes out. So that part right there is actually plus, right? And, you know, whatever the little Neco Arc is going to do, you also get access to that too. So you could use this to pressure, get the plus frames, and if something happens from them, you can get something from them to happen as well. So this is something you can use pretty early on block streams. Maybe something like, you know, if you do like a jab, pressure, and then you go for this or something like that to check your opponent. So if they don't press anything, like if you do it really early, then you can like sort of reset pressure with this +3 on block move. Now, if they're mashing, of course, because of the startup, you can't get hit, but spacing also allows it to actually work as well. One other thing to note, if you're doing this in neutral, the distance that the Neco Arc actually comes out is going to be random. So you see, she comes out like right here just to showcase different distances. That time she goes that far. She goes that far this time. So it's very different. As that time she went nowhere. Sometimes she'll go all the way near them, like just like that. Like look how far, look how close she is. So distance is actually random as well. So not only is there a random chance of what move you get, but also a random chance of how far the distance go. But once again, you can mitigate that if you are using it for the pressure stuff that I'm talking about, like stuff like that. So getting that +3 can definitely help you out to like sort of try out your pressure and stuff like that. So definitely try to utilize that if you can inside of your pressure, and try to go for resets with this move if your opponent isn't checking this as a reset attempt. Now I want to go over Neco Arc's air special moves before we talk about her main grounded special gimmick. So we're talking about the fireball first. So this is air 236 series. This is pretty much like Red Arcwade's fireball. So you have the A version, which sort of comes down like this. So if you come down with this, you are definitely going to be very plus. So you can utilize the plus frames pretty well when it comes to this. So if you come down with it at a good angle, you get a pretty nice plus frames. And of course, with tackle with like some of the normals that like kind of go kind of far, you can sort of mess around with this and get some plus frames and sort of mess up your opponent. So you gotta, you know, choose your normals right, but you get true block strings like that to happen. The B version is going to sort of hop her up in the air a little bit, so it does cover a slightly different distance because of you actually going up in the air. So you see, normally cover this, and this one goes a little bit further because she actually hops up in the air before she does it a little bit. So that is something that can come into play. The other move she has is this one right here. So the Dori Dori, you can actually control the second direction. So you can go back, you can go forward again, you can go up, or you can go down. Now the down one for some reason has a random chance of actually making it to where she falls. So she'll randomly fall randomly sometimes. She's not doing it now like that. So you see, so she randomly falls sometimes. It's completely RNG if she falls or she gets the successful landing. So this one can be a little bit risky. Also, the thing to note is the up version actually can be jump canceled. So unlike the other versions where you can't jump cancel, so you can't jump cancel the forward, you can't jump cancel the down, you can actually jump cancel the up. So if you do like a TK of this and do that, you can actually jump cancel it and try to continue your pressure like that. This is also going to be something you'll utilize in combos as well, because you can jump cancel and because you can actually do stuff like this. So this is something that you will see in some of the combos for Neco Arc as well, which we'll go over combos in just a bit. And finally, it's time to talk about the main gimmick of Neco Arc, which is going to be the Neco Packet. So this is going to be basically the gacha, the RNG of the character where she gets on her phone and basically random things happen. Now, the first one I want to talk about before we talk about the A, which has all the crazy unique things, the B version is similar to how it is with the 2-2B, where rather than just one coming out, actually two come out. So two will come out and do random Arcwade moves, as you can see. So random Neco Arc moves will just happen from this. Sometimes it does absolutely nothing. However, off of this one, unlike the 2-2B, this is where you can actually get a special one, which is the Echo Arc. Now, I don't know the actual percentages of these moves or like, you know, how often this can happen, but there is one that is very special. So under the settings, you can actually change Neco Arc luck settings and actually put it to EX if you want to like test out stuff for. So this is the Echo Arc right here. So it summons like Arcwade, I guess, when she was a child, and she does like attack very similar to how Red Arcwade's attack is. So this is going to be a single blast attack, and this is like the best thing you can get, right? So it does a lot of block stun, it does a lot of damage on hit, like 2 point something, and yeah, is one of the best things you can get off of the normal summon from the B. Now the A version has a bunch of other things that we're about to talk about. So the A version is the real interesting mechanic about Neco Arc, and this is when she's going to summon a random thing from an app. So she's going to get on the app, and there's 7 different apps that she can actually get to happen. So we're going to go over the first couple before we jump into some of the better ones as they start to progress. So this one is going to be the train. Basically, the Neco Arcs come in a train and they do a couple of hits before they go away. Then there's the SOS. This means they're going to come out of the sky and they're going to just fall down to the ground and then dig down. So you know exactly what happens when you see the actual app take place. So when you see the app, you know the train is going to come, and they're going to come just like that. And with the SOS, you know that they're going to come. But things you could do, so if you know that's coming, you can like try to go for a throw and pick it up. The light version, if you hit her out of the sky, then she will randomly do like a charging attack. Besides that, if you don't hit her, then she won't do anything. The opponent can't interact with her. It has to be you that hit her with something. Once again, the SOS, you can do the same thing. So you could throw and you can sort of try to pick it up off of that. So these are things you could try to do. And once again, you got to hit this one yourself. And yeah, that will happen. So these are the first 3 apps. Let's start digging a little bit deeper on some of the other ones. So another one that can happen is the summon of a food can. So we get the food can to happen. That's the SOS. Another SOS. This is one we didn't talk about yet. And there we go. There's the food can. So the food can is going to be one that actually gives you meter. So if we pick it up, simply gives you a bar of meter. Simple as that. Now the opponent can also pick it up, but it only gives them half a bar of meter. So while you get a full, they get a half, but they still can interact with it. However, the one thing we didn't talk about is you can actually hit the can around. So if you hit the can, it actually does damage to the opponent, and you can sort of use it as like a projectile before you actually pick it up. So if you don't want to pick it up right away, you can actually use it. And also, when the can falls out of the sky, it actually has a hitbox as well. So that was a little bit hard to showcase, but it does have a hitbox on the way down, and you could kick it around to actually make it have more hitboxes as you push it towards the opponent for kicking it and stuff like that. So Neco Arc phone can actually catch on fire, and she actually gains hits of armor, and it does a couple of hits. So this is what it actually looks like. So I can see she start moving for a little bit. It does a hit, and then she has armor for a few seconds. So she has a couple of seconds of armor, and yeah, it's basically just a thing that does some hits and you get some armor for it. So it can be nice. You can sort of bulldoze your way in once you have that little bit of armor on, because the opponents do have to respect that type of armor. And of course, one of the big ones that Neco Arc could get is going to be the FGO app. So the FGO app is going to have a few different things inside of it. So the app will summon some black keys that will actually do some damage, just as you can see right there. So summon 3 black keys and they will damage the opponent. It will also summon Saber to do her super, and as you can see, it'll do about 3k damage off this. You can actually combo off of this as well. So, you know, if this actually happens and you get it, you can actually get a combo off of it. You can also get the app to actually drop some curry just like this, and the curry will actually heal HP. Apparently, funny enough, it actually heals more HP to, I guess, CL for like the memes. I think she like really likes curry in like the lore or something like that. So she gets like double the HP apparently. I haven't tested that myself, but I have heard about that. I think that's pretty funny. And of course, the live stream one. Now, I thought this one was completely memes at first, as far as it just hides stuff on the screen, but there's actually things that are attached to it. So if we boot it up right here, you'll see that she talks and there's things that happen. So we'll see what we get this time, and we'll explain exactly what they do. So first it just does that, and now, okay, so we got the quartz. So the quartz actually is going to give you magic circuits. So whoever picks it up, it will actually max out your magic circuits. So if you didn't have max, you see I started off with 2, now I have 4. So if I had 0, I guess it would just max it out. So that is very good, and it goes to whoever picks it up. So if you are fighting Neco Arc and you have no magic circuit, you might want to try to hurry up and pick that up so you can get a full stick of meter from that quartz. All right, so another one is happening here, and she basically threw out a pair. Now the pair is going to give you HP. So if you didn't see it, it says 1,500 HP. So it basically gives you additional HP. So 1,500 HP will be granted to you for whoever picks up the pair. Once again, it's whoever picks it up. So if the opponent picks it up, they will get granted the HP amount. And another thing that can happen is that right there. So the super cats. So the super cats, there's 2 of them. There's the MC up and the HP up. So the MC up will actually give you 3 bars of super. So this can only go to you. And the super cat, the HP up one, will give you 1,000 HP. So 1,000 HP is probably not much, but the 3 bars of super is a lot. So I personally think the super cat one is probably the best one to get, because it can personally only go to you, even though the Saint Court can actually give you 4 bars if you got it, like max bars. 3 bars is very much well off, and it can only go to you, so it can't go to the opponent at all. That is probably the best one to get. Now, talk about Neco Arc's moon skills, starting off with the 4 BC. So this is going to be just a faster version of the 236A pretty much, and does a little bit more damage. The DP, the down forward BC, so 3 BC, is actually going to be plus on blocks. So you can actually utilize the plus frames of this, actually frame trap your opponent. So if you do this in a block stream, you can actually frame trap them and actually get some damage off of that. The back BC is actually going to be the thing where she actually goes on the ground, but this time it is going to basically track the opponent. So it's going to basically go directly where the opponent is in front of them, and you could jump cancel on block. So this is going to be something pretty good to try to make sure that you get in. You know, as simple as that. So this could definitely be a way to try to force your way in, especially if you got that little armor thing we were talking about before, something like that to try to force your way in. Probably could be pretty nice. The down back BC is going to be the phone call. So there's going to be a chance of getting like 3 to 4 Neco Arcs from this, and it's going to be just random things. And yes, you can get the Echo Arc, so the, you know, the little Arcade, you got a chance of getting her from this as well. 2B is basically going to be like 2B, but there's going to be 2 of them that come out rather than 1. This is still going to be something that's going to be plus for you, so you can still utilize the plus frames in this, especially in the corner. Probably be the best way to do it. And of course, whatever the Neco Arcs do, you basically get access to 2 of them, and once again, it's usually like just a random move of yours. So there's also going to be the BC, the air one, the forward BC. This is going to be the projectile. It's going to be much faster, and it's also not going to really like stall in the air like the B version. Is going to come down similar to like the A version, but you basically just get the plus frames off this as well, and it's going to be a little bit faster. So probably using certain combos and just coming in for sometimes and stuff like that. Don't really see this one too much, but it is something that you can actually try to utilize. The air back BC is going to be this right here. Now this is actually going to be jump cancelable, and I believe you actually can't do in a follow-up. So while you can do like the follow-ups from the other ones where you could do like, you know, a different direction, this one I don't believe you can, but you can jump cancel this one, unlike the regular one, which you can't jump cancel. So keep this in mind. You actually can jump cancel this one and be a little bit more safer. And lastly, talking about Neco Arc Super before we talk about combos to get you started. So first, starting off with the 236C. So this is going to be the laser. Like I said, this actually combos into this one right here. So this is something you can utilize. That is definitely going to be a nice confirm for Neco Arc. Now, another thing you can actually try to do is one of the other moves, which is 4-2-1 series. So this one right here, this is going to actually do 3 apps. So of the 214A series, this, you're actually going to get 3 of these all in one session, just like that. So that's what's going to happen with this. And yeah, it gets pretty chaotic. The DP super is going to be this right here. So whenever it hits, it grows like really big, and it gives you like a hard knockdown. So kind of nowhere, no matter like where it hits, as long as it hits, you'll get that like animation, which is the thing you're really looking forward to when you do this. So if anything hits of that, you'll get that animation. Even if it's the last hit, you'll get that animation to happen, and you're good to go from there. So that is that super. 22C is going to toss out 3 Neco Arcs in a horizontal, and they're basically going to shoot. They don't go full screen, but they go about half screen, and then they sort of just bury into the ground. The other super she got is the air super. This is going to be one of your main enders, because basically when you go into your air confirmed, you sort of do something like this. You do something like this and do that for like a hard knockdown, and then start setting up stuff from there. So once again, if you want to, you can do this right here. So do the lasers and go into this. Actually, if you don't want to take the extra damage, this could be a way to set up. So you get the little bit of damage right here, and you're safe to set up this super, and it kind of got to deal with all the shenanigans on the screen. Or you can do this and go into the extra damage like this. The other super she has in the air is this one right here. Really don't see this one used too much, but it is one of the supers that she has. So just keep this one in mind that she has the super. Neco Arc level 3 is going to be the Neco Arc Excalibur sword, where she basically summons a bunch of Neco Arcs, and they basically fall down just like that. So that is her super. The other super she actually got, which is surprising, she has another level 3 super, which is going to be this. So this is actually an unblockable attack. Very slow though. So you're probably not going to see too much use of this, to be honest. Especially if you're trying to play this character seriously. It's probably not a super you're going to use much. You're probably going to use this one. This is like the main super you're going to use. And of course, she got this super, which we really don't need to talk about. Obviously, it's like everybody else's. Has a lot of info, and you get access to the full animation super. And finally, a few basic Neco Arc combos to get you started. And that pretty much covers all the basics you need to know for Neco Arc. Just to recap, we went over her normals, we went over her specials, her supers, her moon drives, and a few combos to get you guys started. As always, everything you see here is definitely not 100% optimized and can definitely be improved upon, but it's just a basis to get you started. As always, like anything I had to say, definitely drop me a like. I greatly appreciate it. Anyone here for me, follow me on my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe, guys. If you want to see more of these videos, let me know down in the comments below what character you want to see next for my Melty Blood Type Lumina videos. Definitely just want to hear what you guys say next, and definitely helps me out if you support the channel by hitting that like and subscribe buttons. But as always, my name is Daikin, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.